back to San Diego Living. We've talked a lot about bullying in the headlines here lately, and unfortunately have been some very tragic endings to some of these stories, and we'd really like to avoid that and help your kids avoid some of the less dramatic bumps along the way as well. Dr. Alexandra Dretsoun joins us again this morning here on San Diego Living, talking about bullying. This latest case in the headlines, a young man videotaped having sex with another man, and then it's put on the internet. He jumps off a bridge and commits suicide. That is bullying, is it not?
Absolutely. I mean, that kind of behavior is humiliating to the person, the target, and we find that this is a very aggressive kind of behavior that leads to negative consequences, not just for the victim, but also for the bully themselves. And with the advancement of technology, we're finding that bullying is taken to another level.
And that's really something as we bring it back to the level of our kids here locally and middle school and even younger these days. They're using this technology to bully each other. Sometimes, just maybe gentle teasing, but sometimes it gets pretty rough, doesn't it?
Right, it does. And we're finding that bullying is no longer just physical or verbal or exclusion from being involved as a part of a group, but also now with texting, email, these social networking sites such as MySpace and Facebook can be very damaging because it's broadcasted to so many people.
And we really advise parents, really know what your kids are texting, know what's on their Facebook pages, be looking at that. But that's almost another topic this morning that we'd be wandering off into. So let's zero in, though, on why kids bully. Why do kids do that?
There's a lot of risk factors. I mean, we find that bullying can be a result of the aggression and violence that's portrayed in media, through video games, music, movies. We also find that there's also family dynamics and peer dynamics. So with family dynamics, we find that parents sometimes model bullying behaviors. They might not have a warm and involved relationship with their kids. They also might lack supervision or even lack limits in parenting. We also find that they might be victimized by an older sibling, particularly usually boys, which can also result in bullying as well.
I mean, my parents used to always say, oh, that person's just, they're insecure. Is there an element of that, just good old insecurity for a lot of the reasons you might have mentioned there?
Absolutely. I mean, we find that sometimes children who bully were victims of bullying themselves, and they're trying to deflect the torment that was addressed toward them or targeted toward them, or they also may want to improve their social status and maybe want to fit in with a particular group that advocates aggression and violence.
So that group needs particular types of counseling and help and assistance and guidance, and we want to encourage parents to seek that help, maybe through the schools or maybe through a professional. But then there's the group that's being bullied and the results of that.
That is frightening because we find that we know that anxiety tends to increase. Their academic performance at school may be on the decline. They might also start to lack self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence. They could be very depressed, and in extreme cases, as you've mentioned with the case in the media, it could also lead to suicide.
So as a parent, I mean, what am I looking for? What are the signs? Because maybe my child doesn't want to tell me. Maybe they're embarrassed, or maybe they don't want the parent involved because they think it'll make it worse. So what do I watch for?
Sometimes you might want to see if there's a change in personality. So if they're reporting maybe a little more anxiety, they might be a little more depressed, they may not want to attend school. So you might want to inquire what's going on and talk to them and find out what are the behaviors, what's their interaction with kids at school like, and then let them know that it's not their fault, that there is a social support network, and you want to coordinate. It's really important that parents coordinate with teachers, the principal, and counselors to ensure child safety and also to implement a school intervention.
Well, this is one of the next things I was going to ask is at what point do you go to the school, and at what point do you take that next step?
I think as soon as the child is being bothered by the behavior, that the parent would need to intervene. And what you could do is you could ask the child, have they tried to address the problem on their own? And if so, what have they done? Has something worked? Has it not worked? And then praise them for trying and let them know that it's not their fault.
Well, I'll just encourage parents to really get involved, really pay attention to what's going on. My son, years and years and years ago in elementary school, had an incident where somebody was bullying him physically, threw him down. What they didn't know is that my son had been studying karate for about 5 years, could have defended himself, but took that lesson to heart that says, don't use these physical skills, except as a last resort. So I went to the school and said, okay, that's one. Okay, you have one warning here. Next time I turn my kid loose. And the school said, oh, well, we'll be happy to get involved. We don't have to, it doesn't have to get to that point. The school was so receptive, so anxious to help, they stepped right in, diffused the situation, got the two boys together, and everything was fine. And I would have thought it was going to be a big dramatic thing, and it wasn't.
That's wonderful that the school did come in to de-escalate the situation, because the culture of the school is going to play a big role in whether the bullying continues or if it ceases.
Right. Okay, Dr. Alexandra Dretsoun, it's good to see you as always. Thank you so much. Great information on this end. Now, we're going to toss it over to Renee here. We're going to talk about physically what you need to do if your kids are bullied. So, Renee, take that part of the story.
Thank you, Mark. Well, our next guest says that confidence is a secret weapon against bullying, and she's here to teach us some power protector techniques against verbal self-defense tactics, you know, to help keep your kids safe. We've got Tracy Arlington here. We've got Kaylin and Kyle, and I know that you guys have been in some self-defense martial arts classes for a while, and they're going to be role-playing with us today.
Right, right. Yeah, I think the most important thing that I would love for parents to know is that they need to role-play with their children. So when somebody comes home, your child comes home and says, so-and-so said this to me, that they have an appropriate response, because, you know, so much of it is relational, and that's what we're seeing in the schools now. I get emails every day about this. So, for instance, if, here's, you know, a typical little mean girl situation is I say to Kaylin, I don't like you. You're not my friend anymore.
I still like you.
You know, what are you going to say to that?
First of all, that's adorable.
I know.
And you're saying that that really diffuses the situation, because where can it go from there?
Right. I mean, what am I going to say to her? Well, I don't want you to like me. You know, so then she just walks away and she ignores, which would be what we call our power protector number 1 and 2, is just ignore the comment, walk away. But here's the key. We have to teach our kids, part of being confident is not showing the emotion of that verbal abuse. We have our children recite in the class, it's okay to feel mad or sad, but don't show the mean kid my feeling. And whatever we do, parents, we have to teach our children, to tell our children not to show attitude. And that is, the key word is whatever. Whatever will definitely attract a bully.
Right, so ignoring the bully and walking away. Let's see some more role plays.
Now, I love power protector number 3, just agreeing with just the name calling, because name calling, teasing is very, very common. So Kyle is our bully here, and he's going to just name call.
You're a loser.
Okay, sure.
4 eyes.
Sure.
Why are you such a shrimp?
Okay.
And she walks away.
Good job.
Right, right. She doesn't have to say, yeah, you're right, I am a loser. It's just, okay, sure, hey, I'm fine with that. Hope your day goes better. Walk away. Act like it's not a big deal, because they need power from the reaction. If he doesn't get it from her, he's going to move on to the next child.
It's so interesting, because there are kids, I think, that are just born more sensitive, and then there's some that it's very easy to not show emotion. So really communicating that it's okay to feel, but just to not let them know.
Exactly, and really it comes from role play, because a sensitive child or a child that's shy or not very confident has to work harder on that. You know,
absolutely.
Fake it to make it, we always say. Fake it to make it. Now, another power protector that I love too is let's say it escalates, and this guy, you know, is trying to get something from her, you know, steal from her or get her homework or what have you. So he's going to be verbally aggressive now. She needs to keep him 2 arm lengths away. So watch this.
Give me your lunch.
Back off!
I say, give me your lunch.
I said back off!
Ooh, okay, now, see the mommy face? That is your ultra secret weapon, the mommy face, confidence. You tell him, no, you can't have my money. And your voice is your biggest weapon, so if it doesn't back the bully down, it certainly will attract attention.
And what's so interesting is the size difference between the two, but really Kaylin was able to hold her own.
Right. She backed him off with her voice. She went Chihuahua crazy on him.
Chihuahua, I like it. Chihuahua crazy.
She went Chihuahua crazy.
Well, and I gotta ask you, Kyle and Kaylin, have you ever been bullied, and were you able to use these techniques?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Quite a few.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's why the martial arts is attractive to a lot of children. But if you can't take a martial art class, we encourage the parents to at least put their child in a self-defense class, and that's what I do. They go through a 2-hour workshop. Now, if it does get physical, did you want to see how she can actually redirect him? And this is what we hope never happens.
Yes, let's take a look at that, and we'll talk about your bully defense class in a second.
Okay, we don't want there to be a fight, because she will get in just as much trouble and they'll both be suspended. So it's really important, that 2 arm length rule. If he's more than 2 arm lengths, he can't push her, shove her, pull her hair. But let's say he does get in to go and push her. She's just going to redirect and let him know, hey, I know something here. And once again, use the voice. Why don't you do it one more time? Okay, one more time. He goes to push her, and she just redirects.
Back off!
Excellent, excellent. Good job, guys.
So part of the training of doing the self-defense is anticipating what is going to be happening and developing that confidence by repeating the words, the physical movements, and it's really creating confidence in kids.
Absolutely. See, with children, once they know what to do and they have an option, that's where the confidence comes from. That's the beauty of role play.
A little high five here for Kaylin and Kyle, who are not bullies, by the way. Either of them.
No.
And again, go to our website, sandiego6.com, and information about your classes October 23rd and November 2nd.
Thank
you guys so much.
All right, good. Thanks for having us.
Good work today. We'll give your neighborhood a beauty boost and your home a higher value. We'll share some selfish ways you can volunteer and really make a difference when San Diego Living returns.